This is by far the biggest haul I have ever done on my channel. I have been thrifting so hard recently, so I pulled some of my absolute favorite thrifted items to share with you guys and hopefully give you some inspiration when you're out thrifting. But this isn't even close to what I've been thrifting recently. So I always share a shop with me and haul when I go thrifting. But like I said, I wanted to pull some of the items to share again and hopefully give you some ideas for your thrifting trips. I collect these little crocs here. I love these for so many different reasons. This has my garlic in the kitchen in it right now. But over here, I actually have a plant with one in here. I love to use them to store my extra paintbrushes, art supplies, and I do have things on rotation. So right now, my paintbrushes might be in a vintage silver pitcher, but in a month or two, it might be in something completely different like a crock. Another item I've thrifted and I love are my coasters. These are some of my favorite pieces because not only are they so good for coasters, I will say not every glass fits in these, but I love that they add that silver element and then also that there is a dual material going on here with the glass. If you don't like these for coasters, they're also really cute with a little candle inside of them. But anytime I see these coasters, I always grab them. And the same idea goes with my wine coasters. So these are wine coasters. This one specifically has a glass insert, which I love. You could put candies in here. You could put, you know, different things, your jewelry, your lip glosses, whatever. I like to use them to layer my candles. But what's really cool, and I actually do use them for wine, water carafes, anything like that. I love these. When I see these, I buy them because they are just such a unique piece. And I love to pay attention to the detail. I get very, very picky with these things. Here's another one. This one has a wood center. This one's my favorite. I have it layered on my bar with my thrifted ice bucket here that's full of limes. It's just a cool way to add layers to your space. I also get them in glass. These are also like a little catch-all bowl. Again, you can use them for candles or, you know, whatever. They're so versatile. Here's one more that's a favorite. These I see at the thrift store all the time. They are crystal on the bottom or glass. Crystal's gonna be a little bit more shiny. Sometimes old glass looks a little bit like foggy and a little bit, you know, kind of scratched up. So I try to find them in real crystal and then I layer in candles. These are my favorite way to use these. But again, if you have more things that you could put in there, by all means. I definitely have a theme here. I love ironstone and silver. I feel like once you hone in your style, you will start to buy the same things and kind of build collections, but I think they're good because then you have different items to shop your own home for, and thrifting does make it a little bit easier to do that. I also love to thrift silver candlestick holders. I actually just thrifted 2 more of these, so now I have a set of 3. I shine these up, I put them on the table, and I just love these, especially when you find them at a thrift store because I've seen these at an antique store and they are quite pricey at the antique store. A couple other items I thrifted recently are these escargot little plates or dishes. These say France on the back, which is one of my favorite details. I love when they say like France or Italy or places that we've been. Again, it helps tell our story. But then I also found these, I haven't used them yet. Same, escargot plates. I love to mix my materials. Also think that that adds a lot more interest to your space. So if I had these, that'd be fine. But the fact that I have a metal one and ceramic and they have different shapes and different handles, it just makes the space feel a little bit more interesting. And again, I love to thrift because I feel like you can do this affordably. But I do have to say that I don't necessarily thrift for the thrill of the deal. I thrift because it adds this storied feeling to my home. It makes it feel like I have some heirloom pieces, and I really don't have heirloom pieces. So this gives me that collected feeling, that feeling of history in my home. And also, I think a big part of my style comes from my trips to Europe. So that's really why I thrift. I can get vintage pieces and add that collected feeling to my home. I showed you the cut crystal ice bucket, and recently I thrifted this silver ice bucket. These are always on my thrift wish list because they are so special. I love to fill them with limes. I have some paper whites in another one that was actually gifted to me. You could put just a wine bottle in here on its own, how it's meant to be with ice, or ice on its own. You could put paintbrushes in here and use it for that. I'll show you here. Just like cool ways to add, and these paintbrushes are quite long handles, but you can just change up the purpose of your items and create a unique space that's gonna be personal and specific to you. I thrifted these. I do have these linked on my Amazon storefront, but these are by far the best water glass I have ever drank out of. They are incredible. There's something so hefty and dainty about them at the same time. The shape is absolutely stunning. I've seen these in pictures of like French bistros, and I had zoomed in, screenshotted, looked for these glasses, and I found them, and I found them where you can get them if you want them too. But what's really cool about these, like I said, they're hefty. They're really, really high quality. They're restaurant quality, but they also have this experience about them. First of all, holding them, they're really nice, but also just putting your lips up to the rim when you're drinking water, it feels like your lips are on silk. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it's the way that they have the glass. I don't know if it's the type of glass. I don't know, but they are incredible. They are the best water glass. They are so elegant. Clearly, I love these and I'm very excited about them. This is the 10 ounce and this is the 8 ounce. I love the 10 ounce because you obviously get more, room for more water or whatever. You could also put juice in here, whatever. But you don't sacrifice the shape of the cup. They do come in a taller. I actually don't like those. I prefer them shorter. That's just my opinion, but I love these. Love these. I feel like I'm gonna have these forever and they're just so chic. Silver bowls are one of the item I look for every single time I go to the thrift store. There's not a time that I don't go look for these at the thrift store. I want a collection of these because they are they're just that decor piece that if you need something, get a silver bowl. Put it in a silver bowl. They're also so beautiful just on their own. I specifically am looking for more small. These are really hard to find. But I have paper whites in one. I have some peppermint candies in one, which is so cute. Look at that for Christmas. It's Christmas time right now while I'm filming this, so I don't know when you're watching it, so I thought I would explain that. This one I have full of balls. Beautiful. This one I actually just thrifted the other day, so adding that to my collection. But these are just a very sophisticated decor piece that adds just some glam, but not too much. Like there's not any extra detail. They're just, the silhouette of these are top tier in my opinion. The next thing I have been collecting, and this is what started the collection, are rammikins. This has a beautiful, little wreath detail going around it. I love these. They're the perfect size. And then recently I thrifted this one, which I love. I just love the shape of this. I think it's so cool. I wanted to find more of these, but I haven't. But I just think having different rammikins, again, on a tablescape, I kind of like a mismatch vibe recently. I just feel like it has this, again, collected feel that just feels like you're pulling out your collections and making this beautiful tablescape. And although I do love repetition, there's something very charming about mismatch pieces. As long as they are in the same material, I think it works really well. Oh, I forgot to share this. This is just such a cool thrifted find. This is a coffee strainer. You put your coffee up here on top, and then you pour water over it and it will go through this center right here, and then it strains again. You put your cup down here and it'll strain into your cup. How cute. Recently, I have been looking for more silver frames. I have been loving adding frames, especially in our bedroom. It just adds a personal touch to our space. So I found these on some of my shopping trips. That one, this one I found thrifted. I have a little wedding photo in there. And I love them, and I'm super into silver right now. I really hope that I stay on this silver obsession forever, because how I feel about it right now, I cannot get enough. I honestly cannot get enough. I found these little appetizer forks in one of my recent videos. Actually, these are all already things that I've shared with you. But someone gave me the idea to just pull these out for Christmas. I'm gonna pack them away with my Christmas decor because they have a C engraved on the handle. And I know some people are fine with having the different letters, even if it's not their last name or whatever. I don't know, I really like it to be our last name. However, C for Christmas, brilliant idea. And then I thrifted, I think I have 12 of these plates. They're these glass plates that are clear, but they have this like wreath etching around the plate, which I think is such a cute little touch for Christmas. So I will be pulling these out and bringing them in. And I think what I'm gonna do is kind of rotate some of my items. So take out some of what I have in our cabinet and put these in there for the holiday season. Actually, that is what I'm gonna do. And then I love to thrift these little containers here. I think these are old sugar containers. I have a paper white in here right now, but in the future I'll do like little, you know, bouquets or whatever. So sweet. I love those. I have 2 of these. These are little salt and pepper shakers. So sweet. I think these are meant to be for breakfast. That's why they're so tiny. But I really liked these. And I just love that they have a column, a little bit more of a masculine appearance in my opinion. I see hurricanes at the thrift store all the time, but I am incredibly picky. In fact, this is the only hurricane I have purchased from the thrift store because most of the time I don't love the shape, I don't love the cut, I like for it to have like a hand-blown feel. I'm super picky, but I did thrift this one and it is one of my favorites. I have a few that I've purchased brand new, but this one is the only I really want to, I look every time and I'm just too picky. Egg cups I use them as a jigger, and I also used them recently in, like I did a little tablescape for us and I filled it with finishing salt, and that was just such a sweet little touch. But little things like this, just reimagining. We don't eat our eggs in an egg cup or put them in an egg cup. So I wanted to think of new ways because I loved the cup, but and this one actually, oops, this one I've actually had for a while, but I wanted to include it in this video because I think it is such a special piece. And I don't know, I think it's just fun to reimagine these things. And obviously there's so many different things that you can always reimagine for. For example, this little bud vase, I put a little match striker on the bottom and put matches in here from time to time and swap this out with some of my other decor. And it just adds this creation. Almost like you're playing in your home decor, and I really love that. Same with my fairy lights. I did actually thrift this one recently. These are so hard to find. These specifically are so hard to find. I do source them online and share those with you. If I can find some, I'll source them. But these are by far my most favorite piece I have ever purchased in my home. They just are so dreamy. Actually, Zach too, I was like, should I include these in this video? And he's like, yeah, it's my favorite piece. These specifically with the chimney style, they're so beautiful. They are so beautiful. When I talk about these online, and I'll even share a little video clip, they're pretty, but not as, when you get them in person, you're like, oh, yeah, they are just so beautiful, as well as my sphere fairy lights. I have them over my toilet. I will put a clip of those as well. They are breathtaking. 2 more items I actually wasn't gonna include in this video, but I'm looking at them. My Facebook Marketplace, my one and only Facebook Marketplace purchase I've ever done are these iron chairs. I'm gonna start on this project eventually, but these are, I feel like I'll have these forever. I was dreaming about these chairs, and that's how I knew. I was like, I have to try to get them because I don't have room for them, whatever, but they got to come home with me. And there are those pieces when you're out thrifting as well, like these other chairs that I have that I'm also I need to take the time to reinforce them because they are a little wobbly, and then I'm going to recover them. But Christmas kind of took over. However, such a good thrifted find. I also love to thrift vases because for different things. Obviously flowers, like my julep cup here. I love this for flowers. I have some candy cane sticks on the bar right now, or in here on the bar. This I actually recently thrifted for a little bud vase. I want to use this in a tablescape. I have 2 of these. And then this as well. I just thrifted this. I just shared this over on my TikTok and Instagram and shorts actually. But this to me is very masculine, and this was at the antique store for like a couple trips that I went, or for a couple months. I thought, you know what, if it's still there, I'm gonna get it, and it was, so I got it. And then this piece, this is also from a little market that happens here. I love anything with a face on it, especially a lion face. And this, it was the only thing I bought. That market's only open, it's called Old Brick House. It's like a vintage store, but it's in a market style. Anyway, they had this, it was the only thing I bought, but it was so special. I love it. I'll have it forever. These I just feel like are a must. I feel like everyone needs these because they are so cute. I have done affogato in these. I'm gonna do some tiramisu in these. I've also thought about doing like whipped butter for Thanksgiving in these. They're just fun and versatile. They're just, I don't know, I really love them. They add a little bit of sparkle, but they're not too stuffy, if that makes sense. Same with these French water glasses. Now I do have new French water glasses that I got from Wayfair. I'll link those down below because I think those are also a must. Like, you need those. They are the Ina Garten glassware that you need. Everyone needs them, but I did thrift these, but they're not as versatile. They have some etching, which I love, but sometimes you don't want the etching. At least that's how it is for me. Right behind my fairy light, these are probably two of my other most treasured thrift finds. This lamp base, this marble lamp base, let me bring it over here. The lampshade I actually got from Amazon. It didn't come with the lampshade, but the base is so cute. I have this in my kitchen. I don't do a ton of decor in my kitchen, but I do love a lamp in a kitchen. It just really, really warms it up. I love it. Some people don't. I do. And then this little lamp that is a tea light lamp. You put a little tea light in there, and there's the top, which is like, I think it's like a alabaster, or yeah, I think it's alabaster. It is so cute. When I first bought this, I bought a completely different shade thinking it went on this. It didn't. Then I went back, found this. So happy that I will have that forever as well. I love it so much. I have been going into the tablecloths a little bit more recently. I love setting a table. We only have my office table that we sometimes convert into a dining table, and our coffee table. However, that's what I have, so I work with it. I found this gorgeous pear tablecloth. This is very risky for me, very outside of my comfort zone. It was on sale, it was $5, but it was 50% off that day. I sent Zach a picture and he's like, go for it. Why not? Try it. And then I stood there for a long time. I'm like, do I like it? Then I took a picture of it and I was like, gosh, those colors are beautiful. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to be brave. And I am so happy I did, because let me pull some of the items that I have that aren't even shined up. Let me show you it next. Like, I think I can make something real pretty. I think I could do something real pretty with this tablecloth. I love this, especially for like a breakfast or a lunch. Gorgeous. Now this one is way more in my comfort zone. Very, very me. And sometimes when I'm out at the thrift store and I see an item and I want to learn a little bit more about it, I will pull out my phone and Google image search the item. And that's what I did with this tablecloth, because I couldn't find a tag. And I thought, oh, I'm just gonna, see what pulls up. Well, it's a tablecloth from the 1940s, and it is gorgeous. It's a little bit sheer. However, I love that. And the back has, I don't think it's reversible, but it has like this white thread, and then the front is like this taupe, but it's so gorgeous. This was such a treasure. I was super excited about this. And then I did pick up this jacquard style tablecloth. It was in pristine condition. I actually just washed all these, so they do need a press. But this is just a very good go-to. Definitely goes with my silver and ironstone. Very romantic vibe. And I actually, from time to, I think I have one other, or maybe two of these. I picked these up because they are such a timeless tablecloth. I feel like everyone with every style could use one of these. I saved probably my favorite thing to purchase from the thrift store for last. And if you watch any of my videos, I cannot stay away from silver trays. Now, I am very picky with my silver trays, but I am building quite the collection. But trays to me are kind of like the bowls, maybe even more than the bowls actually. They are a piece that you can always use. Having trays and being able to have something to corral your items on just tidies up your home, makes it feel more decorated, designed, sophisticated. It just feels a little bit more put together. And I love these. Even when I do a little tablescape on our coffee table, I pull out a tray, I put our stuff on there, and it just feels, I don't know, it feels thoughtful. It feels like, it just feels, you know, when I say feels, I think you get what I mean. This one I just got, it's gotta be my favorite tray ever. I contemplated, I was like, gosh, Brand, you really don't need another tray, but I couldn't, I had to have it. I had to have this tray. Now, I love this tray because it's not too big, not too small. My favorite thing about this tray is that it's like lifted. A lot of my trays are flat, and I'm gonna actually kind of rapidly go over some of my favorites. But this one, you don't find very often, especially in this sort of condition and detail. Sometimes I find them, they're a little bit more ornate, which is not totally my style, but this one, it has the this is like brandy. It has the beaded edge. It has this gorgeous crest, which I've mentioned in past videos how much I love a crest. It just feels very formal, and I love that. And I love to take something so formal feeling and mix it with something a little bit gritty, a little bit dinged up. You know what I mean? That's like my favorite mixture. Anyway, I shared this over on Instagram and TikTok yesterday, and some people said we should get our our letter J engraved, and I might do that. I think that was such a clever idea. But I'm just gonna kind of show you guys some of my very favorite trays, because no two trays are the same, unless they're the same. You know what I mean? Unless they were like mass produced or like multiple of them made, but they're just so special. This one has the egg and dart detail, which I love. It has a little bit of a bowl situation going on. So beautiful. These are like smalls, but this is on a pedestal, which I love. You could put like a couple limes in here, put it on a bar. Again, it's the detail for me. It's these little details that really help, you know, show your story from room to room and complete the whole look for you. That's, you know, why I love. This is the most, it looks like a dog bowl, but I love it. It's just so simple, but I love simple. Simple is my jam. These little trays, when I see these, I'm picking them up because they are the cutest tray for a candle. Oh, they are so good. But these are also very, very good for, they're kind of like the coasters. I actually think that's what these are. In France, they will put these out and put like your water or your wine bottle on there. And it's just those extra details that really create that feeling that I am seeking in my home. And I'm sure you guys are too. So having these layers, it's like sometimes I feel like, man, I have a lot, but it gives me options and it allows me to play. And I love decor and I love to play. So it's just, I can't get enough. This bowl, usually I will find similar to these. I've seen them, you know, I am picky with the detail, but I do see different little tiny little round trays like this all the time. Have never seen a bowl, saw this, took that home with me. I found these set of 5 Ritz-Carlton little trays, silver. These are heavy. I mean, these are so super heavy. I picture these on like a food table with silverware on top, or I could put these in the bathroom, put some disposable napkins on there. They need a little shine, but they are gorgeous. Okay, I know I told you I have a lot. I have so much. Oh, I do have this ironstone little platter. Love. And look, you have something with like a little bit more feminine, and then you do something simple. Are you, it's too good. It's too good. It's just so fun. It is so fun. And I am so happy that I started thrifting again, because I just feel like I love things. Okay, this bowl, again, you don't really see these that often. Being super picky with your detail, choose your detail if you love it. I think kind of being picky with it will help you love your pieces more, and that's kind of what I do. Same with this tray. This one has like almost like this eyeball detail. I don't really know how to describe it other than like a little eyeball detail. Another tray with that lifted side, but again, just paying attention to the detail. This one also has some detail in the center, and I like it when it's on the center like this, because if I don't want all that showing, I could put like a little linen cloth over top of it and kind of let it peek through, but it's not overpowering the piece. That's my favorite. Couple more. Sorry, I have so many silver trays. I have more. I couldn't narrow it down. These little trays, these are actually lids to bowls, but you can use them as trays as well. And then the little handles give you a little bit of extra detail, a little bit more interesting of a piece. I actually plan on bringing these. I want to like revive my office a little bit, my art studio, and add some of my like decorate my art supplies, if that makes sense. This tray is a more recent find. This, I actually think you put a Pyrex in here, and then maybe you put like something to warm up the food or keep it warm. You know me, I'm gonna use this on the bar because it looks like a bar tray to me. Another tray that's hard to find that I love is something with no detail at all. This to me just gives a little bit more of a quiet luxury, a little bit more of a sophisticated vibe. However, I can add some interest by adding something, oops, with a little bit of detail. And I will say too, I feel like maybe this is kind of a given, but I only do silver plated. I'm kind of getting into pewter, but I don't do like stainless steel or anything like that. I personally like the look of silver plated because it does have a warmer tone to it. However, you do have to upkeep it. It is a little bit high maintenance because you do need to polish it and keep it polished if you like that look. Some people love tarnished silver as well. Right now, where I am in my decor, I love a shiny, bright, perfectly polished piece. Another example, this one's actually heavy, so you know it's good quality when it has some weight to it. I always do try to buy something with a little bit of weight because I know it's gonna be high quality. I know it's gonna last me forever. But this one was simple, oval, and just cool. Adding like a little something on here, like a little linen cloth. Yes, please. Last but not least, one of my favorite trays. I actually have this in a smaller version as well. That's a little bit more of like a bowl tray. And it's my favorite brand, Reed & Barton. I actually have some Reed & Barton pieces saved on my Amazon storefront, one of my favorite trays. My new trays that actually I use more than any of my vintage trays because the handles, it's a little bit more current. Anyway, it's from Reed & Barton. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a little insert of that as well. But finding them vintage is fun, you know, because you get a good price on them. The detail of this, to me, was just so unique. I mean, I kind of feel like a dome food cover needs to go over top of this. It's just so elegant in my opinion, but like not doing too much, if that makes sense. I know that was a lot. And this isn't even everything I've purchased recently. I have done shop with me's and thrift hauls in all of those shop with me. So if you want to see more, definitely go back and check out those videos. But I thought this video would be fun to show you some of my favorite, and it's hard to say favorite because I'm not buying it unless it's my favorite, but these were all very special pieces in my opinion that I have purchased and that I love, and I can't wait to rotate throughout my home. But my ultimate goal for this video was to hopefully encourage you to go out to the thrift store and find some treasures that you love because it is fun. It is so fun. And maybe your style isn't silver and ironstone. Maybe it's brass and handmade pottery or whatever it is. The thrift store has it all. So go check it out, see if you can find you some treasures. Let me know if you're into thrifting, if you've gone thrifting, if you have found some treasures. And I hope that you enjoyed today's video. This was the biggest haul I have ever done on my channel and it was fun. Anyway, let me know down in the comments which item was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in a couple days with another. Bye. I would say we were good together. I would say we had fun.